What sounds like gunfire in a war zone is really a neighborhood in northeast Colombia where more than 70 shots were fired in broad daylight. Authorities say those responsible were teens with stolen guns.
Please, please, please do not leave your firearms in a car overnight. That's where a large percentage of these guns are coming from.
The shooting at villages at Lake Shore is just one of many different incidents involving stolen guns. The U.S. Attorney for the District of South Carolina, Adair Burrows, says stolen guns are such a prevailing issue that South Carolina is now known as a source state.
We have gun tracing where we can see where these guns come from, and by and large, the guns used in violent crimes here in South Carolina originate in South Carolina.
Burrows says the guns in criminal activity are either stolen from vehicles or obtained through straw purchasing. This is when someone legally purchases a gun for someone who is not supposed to have a gun and hands it to them anyway.
Just that act can get you up to 15 years in prison. If that gun is then used in a felony, you can get up to 25 years.
Federal agents in South Carolina continue to make countless arrests for crimes with guns, all coming from within the state. Here are some of those startling arrests. Back in 2022, a man from Due West in Abbeville County was charged for his role with illegally trafficking almost 60 guns into Philadelphia from South Carolina through what's known as the Iron Pipeline. Authorities say that's a reference to the route on I-95 used to traffic stolen guns. Just last month, a man from Anderson was sentenced for his role in helping to run a gun trafficking operation. Authorities say 73 firearms were headed to Canada. Many of those guns came from our state. And in June, a man from Lugoff in Kershaw County was sentenced to 14 years in prison for unlawful possession of 60 firearms. Federal agents say these arrests and others are all tied to those stolen guns and straw purchases. Authorities tell me these arrests have been made thanks in part to Project Safe Neighborhoods, an initiative between law enforcement on the federal, state, and local levels with the Department of Justice. So you all have a project with law enforcement and it's called Project Safe Neighborhoods. What is it and how does it actually work?
Where we have people who are really wreaking havoc in communities, who have a lot of criminal history, who are putting a lot of guns on the streets. The locals really want them to be federally prosecuted, and so we work with our local law enforcement as well as the federal law enforcement to make sure that we are taking cases federal that are really worthy of going federal.
To give you a better understanding of how serious this problem is, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, or ATF, is also helping with this issue. According to their latest gun crime stats for South Carolina in 2022, more than 12,000 firearms were recovered that year. More than 1,000 of those guns were used in drug crimes. More than 600 were related to homicides and aggravated assaults. And more than 8,000 of those firearms traced back to South Carolina. Authorities stress that people who do have the right to carry need to do their part, and those individuals need to be more careful with their firearms.
Be responsible with the way you store your gun so it doesn't end up in the hands of someone who will use it to kill.
In Columbia, Friendly Clairvaux, Watch Fox News, Local First. Stay up to date with this story and more. Subscribe to our Watch Fox YouTube page. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and click the notification bell to never miss an update.